and they were able to access
You gotta
the
reap what you
property
sold,
on
Puffy.
on site.
You
So
robbed Biggie
clearly
Mama.
they're ready for anything.
You robbed
Whatever
Biggie
they're going
Mama,
to be
Puffy. You
met
gotta
with,
reap what you
you don't
sold.
know, and that is why they make sure that
They
they
raiding
are
Puffy
safe in
house right
numbers, that
now.
they're armored,
Reap what you
and that is why
sold.
you see such a big force out there, because you never know what kind of emotion you're going to be met with.
They should be at the borders, though, securing the borders, but they raiding Puffy house for robbing Biggie, doing his mama wrong. This man is reaping what he sowed. I'm gonna be quiet.
Propping it open, but that was the door that was giving them the trouble. And we were I was trying to figure out if that is actually maybe like a private entrance for that back house. It does actually.
Oh, that's the back house when he was having the sex parties with us.
That's how you get in and out without going through the actual house
We
itself.
know it too.
But you can see they still have personnel there on scene. Every house, there's 3 properties that I would say on this big piece of property. They all have some.
That's Puffy house being raided right now in LA.
Just making sure that there isn't
Puffy's
anything
being raided.
taken or anything moving in and out. And or
This your
a
favorite?
person in that area.
This
But
is
that
Puff
main
Daddy house being
there's
raided.
still
Y'all
a
don't see
number
this.
of folks that like armored personnel that.
Do it say the name of the thing? No, it don't say the name of the thing. That's his Diddy house. It don't even say Sean Combs. It say Diddy. Diddy do it.
Came with the armored trucks. They did not make their way into the property. They waited outside, and now they are actually making their way to that front door, which shows you that their progress is being made. And of course, we were keeping an eye on the, as we call them. And it is what they are. The suits down there. I'm sure those are the ones that are pretty much where all the evidence is going to go to in the end. They're still outside, so that shows you that they're going to be waiting. I would venture to say when they find something, those are the guys that are going to make their way in and actually looking at and taking things from this home. But right now, that's still, that process, I wouldn't even think has actually even started.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to take a lot of time. That is a huge mansion to begin with. And then it depends on what they're looking for. It could be as small as a hard drive or as big as boxes and boxes full of information they're trying to collect together. Where all that information is also the tricky part. I mean, think about going into a stranger's home. You don't know where they put it. And so it could be very hidden. So this whole process, it could take a lot of time in terms of them finding what they made entry for. So this is a methodical, lengthy process. And again, this is taking place right here in Holmby Hills, as well as his Miami home. And I'm sure law enforcement officials from both sides in Miami and LA are certainly talking to each other as they go through this as well. But still no sign of Sean Combs himself. We don't know where he is. It's not clear.
I think I hide him in the basement. Go get that.
Was mentioning on the ground there, but clearly this was in all a very peaceful raid as they made entry, and right now as they are making their way in and out of the property as they conduct their search. But a search that is just beginning, as you see those suits, the investigators taking their time, making sure everything is done properly and methodically in terms of what they're looking for at this point. Again, we have a lot of questions that we just don't know the answers to.
I know what they say. We have a lot of questions we don't know the answers to.
Thank you so much
They
for
looking for
joining
jewelry.
us. And if you can make like
Usher might be up in
looking
there.
at Homeland
Usher.
Security making entry into the Holmby Hills mansion of Sean Combs.
Sandra, this is a Homeland Security investigations that appears to be on site. What they're probably looking for is, well, I should say in general, they look at human trafficking and sex trafficking being a component of that. And of course, there's been some rather big civil suit stuff that's taken place, but also the New York case where the statute of limitations basically had been rescinded, allowing them to look back many years in this case. Part of it was there have been allegations that he was drugging young
The same shit they said about Bill Cosby.
which is that was rape took place at some point. But I think what HSI is probably looking at is the interstate aspects of it, if there was any online activity that could have taken place. And that's usually where HSI would have a jurisdictional interest. Homeland Security Investigations being part of the Department of Homeland Security, looking at the interstate side, mostly online, and whatever took place across state lines. And of course, you know, he travels all over the place, so I'm sure they'll.
He got kids everywhere. Where's Justin Bieber?
Around the country, and whether that was tied to a larger criminal activity.
Yeah, definitely Homeland Security involved in any
Daddy going
interstate,
backwards, I'm going forward.
international criminal activity here. So what exactly do you think everyone is looking for at this point?
They don't miss
Such
jury.
a large number of law enforcement make entry.
Well, it's a combination of both local.
They don't know what
and
they're looking
federal.
for. They're not
And
looking for no
it's-
migrants or
and
no
from what I
terrorists. They're looking
understand,
for
local law
Puffy.
enforcement has the specific lead at each one of these locations with the federal investigators coming in with them in concert. And what they're probably looking for is any evidence that they can gather. Certainly any images, picture.
Listen, they don't know what the fuck they looking for. Well, he bust Usher up in his coochie and asshole, allegedly. That nigga Puff Daddy hiding in the bushes. This is awesome. I got the footages. Me and Tupac and Biggie about to celebrate. This nigga in the bushes, bruh. This nigga dancing in the bushes. Okay? See, they too busy looking in the house that they not looking in the bushes. Oh, Puff Daddy in the bushes dancing. Those some nice plants. Big ass house, ain't nobody in there. Soon as they take your ass to jail, I'm about to go occupy that motherfucker. I got the address, nigga. Oh yes, Puff Daddy. Hey,
Baby Cat 85 allegedly. Nigga, I got the address, nigga. I know where that house is at. Soon as they arrest you, nigga, and put you in a jail cell with Suge Knight so he can slap you up, nigga, I'm about to be in that motherfucker, nigga. Yes, indeed. You go reap what you sold for doing Biggie Mama wrong, nigga. You go reap what you sold for putting Biggie on Wilshire when he's supposed to been in London doing that $6 million deal, that six-figure deal. Yeah, that nigga hiding in the bushes. Go get that nigga.
niggas hiding in the bushes, bro. That nigga.
Haley on the ground there.
Hey, Sandra, yes, we just got that statement from the Department of Homeland Security that I was trying to get for you guys about 10 minutes ago. It doesn't say a whole lot, but it says, this is attributed to Homeland Security Investigations. Earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available, so nothing really that we haven't already told you. Here on the scene, on the ground, a lot of the law enforcement officers with Homeland Security have gone up the hill. You can see one of those big command vehicles coming out, with those police vehicles. In the meantime, behind us, several of his friends, they've identified themselves as, have been trying to get through the crime scene to get to the house, but of course, not letting them through. We've tried to get comments.
They trying to get in and get some jewelry too.
What's going on, but they haven't been able to.
Look, this is a
They
free.
don't want to provide.
Listen, this is a free for all. They said some of Puff Daddy friends is even trying to get up in that motherfucker so they can get them some shit.
And his home here in Holmby Hills.
I think Puffy in the bushes.
That statement didn't mention Sean Combs, correct? Or anything.
It doesn't, but we have confirmation from multiple law enforcement sources that this does involve Sean Combs or P. Diddy, but no, This statement, I'll read it one more time, says, earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from both HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners.
All
We'll
right.
provide further information as it becomes available. Of course, we're trying to get them to talk to us on camera, but they said, the lady in particular who sent me the statement says she's not allowed to.
Thank you so much. Yeah, not really clarifying a whole lot though, but clearly understandable because right now, maybe they're not in position to divulge any more information. So let's bring in Hal Kemper here again from Homeland Security. Thank you so much for your expertise in all this. I don't know if you heard that statement, but didn't really say anything except that an investigation is underway in Miami and here. So clearly not stating who it involves or what the charges are.
It doesn't, and they might be crime scenes. I should clarify, I'm not from Homeland Security, but I work in Homeland Security, and I've worked with Homeland Security investigations over many years. Very familiar with not only the agency, but also a lot of the individuals, a lot of the people who work there, to include here in Los Angeles, especially. What they're probably looking at are the two residences, one in New York, one in Los Angeles, and I haven't seen the documentation, but if it doesn't name Sean Combs by name, it's probably because there's been allegations that criminal activity had taken place tied to sex trafficking at these locations. So what they're doing is they're looking at the locations themselves and investigating them as potential crime scenes. And of course, with that, I'm sure the scope is such that they can look just about anywhere, gather any materials. They're probably gathering up any electronic materials. They're probably doing things like imaging the place, taking a lot of pictures and stuff that may be used later. Could be in reference to what witnesses say on the stand, that they may look at various pictures of the locations themselves to help refresh their memory while they're talking about various activities that may have taken place or alleged to have taken place. So there's a lot of reasons why they might not focus on him per se. Also, there's another thing too, is he runs a fairly large organization. The fact that they don't name him might mean that they're looking at other activities that could have taken place within his immediate, entourage or his organization that involve these properties. So one can't rule out anything at this point because we don't know a lot.
Sure, but obviously this is just their statement to the press at this point.
What do you
So
think the
what the
press-
actual legal documents say and what...
You don't know a lot. So y'all don't know why y'all raiding this nigga house? He done bust Usher in his coochie in his asshole, allegedly. Oh my God, that's Biggie house, nigga. That's Biggie mom shit, nigga. Nigga hiding in the bushes and shit. That nigga right behind that bush right there. They don't even know it. Like, it's just you, Puffy. You had all them gay parties allegedly there? Y'all better take that glow light and get some semen samples. Usher was in there getting his coochie and asshole busted open. Allegedly. Telling you, you reap what you sowed. I'll be telling people. Nigga, the season just changed. You reap what you sow every season. They're not understanding the facts. And I'm gonna reap, nigga, I'm living better than Puff Daddy. The spirit can't even find. I'm living better than Puff Daddy. Puffy, it's baby Cat 85. I'm living better than Puff Daddy. Puffy. Puffy. I'm living better than Puff Daddy. Puffy. Puffy, what is you doing? You're living better than Puff Daddy. Since you Puff Daddy, I'm about to start puffing. You Puff Daddy. Baby Kid 85. They raiding that man's house right there. Are you on parole or probation? I told you, see? You should have turned that house over to Biggie Mama. All that shit you did to Craig Mack. Total. You bust Usher in his coochie in his asshole. Sent him to the hospital. Having sex. You wanted to have sex with Fabulous, allegedly. This is all allegedly. What you did to Cassie. Grown ass nigga that just killed Biggie holding Cassie hand. Allegedly. Yeah. Get ready for count time, nigga. This shit is about to pop, drop. See Tupac right there. Tupac, the bop, bop, boo, da, da, da. Already. Oh, I think the lady that also killed my baby Shalina, did that bitch kill herself? Puffy, you about to reap what you sow. You think this shit was a game. You thought your money was, you thought God wasn't watching you, you homosexual. They raiding your house right now, nigga. You hear me? Diddy do it? Did he do it? That's Puffy Mansion being raided in Los Angeles right now. Diddy's Los Angeles house. I got the footage. Did he do it?
Is a federal sex trafficking investigation, and you've been seeing there on the ground.
But did he do it?
Numerous investigative agencies and law enforcement officials conduct this raid,
They at Diddy's house. I'm trying to figure out, did he do it? You gotta reap what you sold. Okay? I don't care if you in a mansion or what y'all think y'all doing. You think God ain't real? You think you would just get away with what you're doing? Big ass mansion. Had a lot of sex parties. Bust Usher and his coochie and asshole allegedly. Raped Cassie, nigga. Come on now. Biggie supposed to went to London and got into a big old 6-figure deal. He talked Biggie into going to Wilshire Boulevard where all his enemies was and had him killed. Lied to Biggie Mama. Biggie Mama don't got no house like this. Puffy is hiding in them bushes. See, but they know the truth. Listen, I just said, even some of Puff Daddy friends showed up to try to steal some of his jewelry right now. The feds in there, they like, no, we about to take everything. But Puffy a smart little smoker type of nigga. Homosexual, allegedly, this nigga. Puffy probably put all that shit in his mama name. Puffy ain't stupid. Well, he is stupid, but come on. Yeah, Diddy's Los Angeles home is being raided. Why would you take Biggie to LA knowing that his enemies was there? Oh, hold up. Right before he talked Biggie into going to LA, Biggie got into a car accident. That was God trying to warn him. Biggie broke his leg. You took a handicapped nigga to Wilshire Boulevard, nigga, and Biggie, listen, y'all, Biggie got shot in his heart and he pooped on himself and he passed away at Cedars-Sinai Hospital where I was born at. This is Puffy House being raided.
and his home in Miami, Florida, as we speak, live, raw, and unfiltered. Now, Fox 11's ground crew at the scene said the home in Los Angeles was registered to Bad Boys Films. It's a division of Bad Boy Entertainment, along with one of Combs's daughters. So, remember, we weren't exactly sure.
That's fucked up. This is Craig Mack house. He had an artist that died homeless under Bad Boy Records. This, wow.
So you would imagine, and you're seeing kind of how the other half lives here, that, you know, staffers at the home, possibly family, friends, assistants, what have you. We just don't know who was in the home at the time. Now, they had to make sure these homes were vacated before they can conduct kind of the peculiarities and the particularities of their investigation, kind of combing through. And you heard there from our friend Hal Kempfer on Fox 11 say that they would be taking a lot of photos, that they would probably be taking a lot of electronics like computer hard drives and devices and what have you. So,
You know, Puff Daddy computer hard drive is filled with nasty, sick shit. This is where he busts Usher coochie and asshole open, allegedly.
The civil lawsuits against Diddy sure beg the question of whether there's a criminal investigation, but the hugest red flag was back after the Cassie lawsuit was filed and there was an NYPD leak about a criminal probe. Now, you'll remember...
That nigga did Cassie. Bam! Blew her coochie and asshole out too. Allegedly.
Cassie. And there were some very, very damaging and disturbing claims made by Cassie against Diddy to the tune of sexual assault, degradation, and the like. And then she retracted that lawsuit after an undisclosed amount was settled up.
Biggie Smalls' mama prayers is being answered. Biggie Smalls' mama is getting justice, and she deserves it. Done killed Biggie and went and had sex with another man. You's a buster. Yeah, get this nigga up out of here. This nigga hiding in the bushes and shit. Did he do it? Yes, he did do it. That nigga hiding in the bushes. Look in the bushes.
Of various degrees of sexual assault and sexual misconduct and for his behavior. So if you are just joining us right now, I'm Andrew Kraft. We are over these scenes both in Los Angeles.
Yeah, if you're just joining, this is about Puff Daddy. He's reaping what he sowed, and you gonna reap what you sowed too if you did some foul shit, you buster.
And in Miami, we don't have any confirmation of who was at the homes at the times of these raids, whether Diddy was in the vicinity, whether any of his family members or children or assistants or staffers were at the homes in question when the raids took place.
He did do it. The Diddy's a buster. Buster. That nigga's a homosexual, allegedly. I done cut the volume off, y'all. That's the news. They stealing shit. Ooh, so that's the house in Los Angeles and that's the one in Miami. Yeah, get that shit back to Biggie Mama.
All right, so like I said, we're gonna keep these shots up here. We're gonna bring...
Get him homes back to Biggie Mama, you buster, you homosexual, allegedly, you bust. Usher and his coochie and asshole.
Listening to our friends at Fox 11 there, they bring up a good point. These do not happen sporadically or instantaneously. They are methodically planned out days, if not months in advance. And so if you're just wondering why now, that's a question I have as well here. So you see there in Los Angeles, you see there in Miami, it looks like the camera is somewhat veering off the actual residence and property in question from Diddy, but we're going to keep it up nonetheless. This is coming to us from our partner WSVN down there in South Florida. So in the meantime, we're going to keep this up. We're going to be bringing in voices to help us make sense of this story. Why now? What could go?
Oh, I am the voice. I can make sense of this story. First of all, you curse yourself, Puffy love. Niggas on yachts sucking on lollipops with Meek Mills eating french fries with ketchup out of niggas' legs. Niggas on yachts busting bitches upside their heads. Lady said she was gonna write a book. She ended up dead. Will Biggie down to Wilshire in a motherfucking wheelchair. He dead. Black Rob. Rob, that nigga, Black Rob died broke. He didn't die in a house like this. He did. Craig Mack died. Whatever Puffy did to him made him run to the Jehovah Witnesses or the Mormons. Died on private property, Mormon properties, allegedly. And they look at this shit. You reap what you sow, bro. Shit is real, nigga.
Doing some great reporting, trying to get a better sense of the situation, a better handle of the situation.
Let's get a better sense. Baby Cat 85 is living better than Puffy Love. Puffy Love.
Know a lot at the moment. What we know right now is happening live as we speak.
Puffy Love.
Residents affiliated and connected with the music mogul and rapper Sean Diddy Combs are being raided right now by numerous law enforcement officials in
Sean Diddy do it. No, yeah, Sean Diddy do it Combs.
sex trafficking investigation. Now both there in Los Angeles and in Miami, Florida.
Buster out of here. Get that
So
Buster.
we are overhead both of the residences.
He's a buster. Get that Buster out of Los Angeles, nigga. Get that house to Craig Mack family. Get that house to Black Rob family. Disperse that house and them cars money to Biggie family. You buster.
Like SWAT team officials breached one of these doors there at the mansion in Holmby Hills in Los Angeles. So
Did he do it?
I want to bring up some of the context though,
Did he do it?
as far as what Diddy has experienced
What did he do?
in the past
They won't even call him at his name, Sean Puffy Combs. They just said Diddy. Because they want to know, did he do it?
writer Cassie. She dropped the bombshell lawsuit in New York federal court against
Cassie?
Diddy.
Did
Now,
he?
they dated between 2005 and 2018. The lawsuit detailed very damaging and disturbing allegations over years of alleged sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. Now, the two...
Sexual. Nothing is good for sexual. This is all about sexual healing. Did he do it?
time. Now, a week later after that, two more women came forward and accused Diddy of sexual abuse in a separate lawsuit. Both of those lawsuits were filed last November on the eve of the expiration of the Adult Survivors Act. It's a New York law allowing victims of sexual abuse.
I want to see how Biggie Smalls' mama house look. Look at this nigga got all this shit. Got Usher hide in the bushes. Did he do it?
Those victims of sexual abuse and sexual assault to file their claims no matter what, that the statute of limitations had expired. So I'm only saying this because I think it's important
Yes.
to let you know what has been going on with some of the claims
Tell me.
levied against Diddy over the last 3 to 4 months.
Did he do it? Go
Fast forward to today, March the 25th, Monday. We get word from Fox 11 in Los Angeles that something is going on at a very large mansion in the Holmby Hills section of Los Angeles. We do our digging. We hear from Fox 11.
That nigga up in there busting these homosexual activities. Usher is up in there. His mama done filed a complaint. It took like 12 years for them to bust in this nigga. How?
But we are told, Fox 11 Los Angeles, saying this is a investigation, federal one at that, into sex trafficking. In the meanwhile here, like I said, we are bringing on some of our experts, legal analysts, law enforcement experts who know a thing or two about these probes, who know a thing or two about these investigations and how these raids are carried out. We're going to keep the live pictures up. We're going to hear some of these voices, though, right now, including our friend, attorney and expert, Nicole DeBoard, who has been following this as well. She joins me. Nicole, Happy Monday. Good to see you. What a major, major development in such a story. I know Diddy has been going on with some of these legal sagas over the last 3 or 4 months. Then we get word of this. And like I said, I'm not saying they're related. I think it's important, contextually speaking, to bring them up. But from what you are seeing right now, what does your gut tell you, Nicole?
My gut tells me that it's absolutely related. I mean, it is typical, but never a good sign when the feds show up at both of your residences with search warrants at the same time. This is done so that evidence is not lost or destroyed. It's also done by.
They looking for that nigga, boy. Get that nigga.
While they're not expecting it. So this is exactly what I expect for warrants of this nature, and they're looking for laptops, thumb drives, images, documents, anything to verify the types of that they're investigating.
You know, Nicole, you've prosecuted and dealt with a lot of these cases in the past. And for our viewers who don't know, what is the legal bar to reach the statute definition of sex trafficking in the United States? What do you need if you're some of these investigators who are poring over some of these devices, presumably that they have seized, hardware, software, a lot of drives, I would imagine, photos they are taking all over these residences. What do you even look for?
You're looking for evidence of compelled prostitution, essentially, or for potentially minors being asked to engage in sex acts. You're looking for anything that would demonstrate that there is essentially a sex trade being operated either out of those locations or that there's evidence at these locations to show that that's what is happening here. And, you know,
Usher and what's that other name? Justin Bieber. He's already grown now. They're looking for kids.
there is some activity that crossed state lines, for example.
Oh no, I think that's really kind of enlightening here too, because this is something you just don't see every day. And I don't want to speculate on kind of the scope of the probe or the investigation, but could one be led to believe that with the number of law enforcement officers on scene, the amount of people that they brought to conduct a raid like this, is that indicative of the scope of the raid, or is this just normal everyday business about how these raids are conducted? I know you're not a law enforcement expert, but you're looking at this right now and you're seeing the amount of manpower to carry something like this out. I know these are mansions and you have to go through almost every room, you have to sweep the grounds, and you have to make sure.
Hey, listen, I'm about to tell y'all something too. It's a free for all going on too. They robbing a lot of the billionaires is killing the millionaires, and the millionaires is killing the thousandaires. And you see what they doing to the homeless people. So they have Puffy Love House. Puffy is hiding in the bushes with Usher right now, allegedly. Puffy mom pressed charges. Usher mom pressed charges on Puffy because Puffy bust Usher coochie and asshole open. It was a sad situation. They finally raided the house many years ago. They looking for kids. Puffy Love. This is that Puffy Love right here.
They encounter and be able to secure them away from each other. So one thing you don't want as law enforcement is to have all of the witnesses that you're seeing at this residence, for example, corralled in one location, so that they can talk to each other and trade information as you're setting out on your investigation. You want to make sure all these witnesses are separated so that you can start interviewing them and get their point of view uniquely.
Puffy Love.
You know, Nicole, we also saw on the video here that law enforcement in Los Angeles, in the Holmby Hills home, they detained people around the house or in the house. Now, you know, they're not necessarily, and correct me if I'm wrong, they wouldn't be considered suspects. Is that normally how law enforcement would do this? They would detain people on the scene just for questioning and then maybe release them later, or do they know who they're looking for? Are they going to these raids to arrest people, is what I'm asking?
Sometimes the answer is both, and sometimes the warrant actually says it's a search and arrest warrant, so they're there to actually arrest certain individuals who they do believe are suspects. And sometimes they're just search warrants, which means they're there to gather information. They have some very particular information they have to give a judge in order to get a judge to sign off on a warrant, because you can see there by looking at the screen yourself. I mean, this is a very invasive process. They're going into the home of an individual, and there has to be reason enough to believe that what they're looking for is going to be in that home. And they have to secure all of the individuals walking around in that home or detain them to make sure that they don't dispose of evidence or move evidence or do something to potentially damage the investigation. So it may not be that everyone in that home is a suspect. It could be that everyone in the home is a suspect, or it could be some combination.
I'm so happy I'm not at Puffy house right now. I could have been at Puffy house chilling, trying to make a record deal. You want to be down with Bad Boy, and the feds busting that bitch looking for kids. Talking about, nah, what the fuck is going on here? You see what I'm trying to tell you, nigga? This shit is real, nigga. Get that shit back to Biggie Mom, all that shit.
But I've confirmed with the U.S. Attorney's Office the case is not out of LA's Central District of California.
Where is it at?
And Megan says the Southern District of New York is most likely. Now that would track with the statement Fox 11 Los Angeles reporter Haley Winslow on the scene got.
Damn, so that means he ain't gonna be locked up with Suge Knight. Fuck. I wanted that nigga to be put in the jail cell with Suge Knight. God damn.
It'd be coming out of New York. That's where the nucleus of the investigation is, so to speak. I don't want to say that's confirmed, but that's what we're somewhat hearing.
I think that's absolutely possible, and it's possible that even though there's not maybe a federal investigation going on in the California district or even in Miami, they have given a judge enough information to believe that it is reasonable to expect that evidence of the crime being prosecuted or investigated in New York is at these two locations. That's what they would have to show the judge in order to get the warrant.
Send that nigga to
And
LA
it could
County.
be that maybe not now.
Miami,
They're not
that's
looking
real
at
soldiers
a
up there.
particular charge in
Yeah,
either
it's tough for you to get
districts
right,
in
Puff
Florida or
Daddy.
California, but
You gonna
know,
get your
really,
nice little
depends on what they
boyfriend.
find.
They waiting for you,
Right
Puff
now, they
Daddy.
believe evidence of a crime committed in New York is
You
to be
wait
found
for
at the
Puffy.
location in Los Angeles and Miami. It's possible that what they uncover could lead them to believe that also there was a potential crime in those jurisdictions, and they would not be foreclosed from being able to investigate those crimes, even though that's
You're
not
going
what the
into
warrant initially
custody.
set out.
You know, so
Puffy hiding in the
is it
bushes.
customary
You
for where
going in
the
for what
warrants
you
are
did to
served?
Biggie, nigga.
You would
You going in for what you did, Biggie, how you treated Biggie, and how you treated Biggie mama, nigga, how you treated Craig Mack and Black Rob. You go reap what you sow, nigga. You hear me, Puffy love? It's Baby K85. Let's get to the footages.
So in other words, it could be a crime they believe occurred in New York, but they have reason to believe, and it's strong enough information that they were able to get a judge to sign off on a warrant to indicate that evidence of the crime that is being investigated in New York can be found in Los Angeles or Miami. So it's not necessarily so that they believe the crime itself happened in either Los Angeles or Miami, although it could evolve that later turns out to be the case.
You know, Nicole, like I said, you have a lot of experience in prosecuting these cases, but we are watching federal agents raid 2 mansions, thousands of square feet, multiple acres. That's a lot of ground to cover. There are going to be, you could imagine, thousands of pieces of evidence. I mean, these are large properties here.
That's completely true, and I've had an opportunity to defend quite a few of these cases, and these cases are indeed complex. Not only do you have an instance where you have just the idea that these cases can have terabytes and terabytes of information, which are later produced to the defense team, but you have 2 locations now that are just very large where they're gathering this information from. So I can expect whoever is ultimately representing Mr. Diddy to Mr. Combs to have to sift through incredible amounts of physical and digital evidence just to try to find out exactly what these accusations are about.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Scott Fox there in Los Angeles is going to be flying away. We still have our live picture, though, in Miami
Welcome
as
to my
well.
city, Diddy.
What's the coordination and cooperation like now that this is looking like a bi-coastal operation and investigation? How hard is it, Nicole, to get everyone on the same page, to get everyone on board with this is what we're looking for, this, maybe who we need to question, who we need to detain? Is that a very heavy lift, so to speak?
I can see all the homosexuals walking down the road. Now he has some gay. Why would you? You was having a lot of parties after Biggie passed away. You homosexual, allegedly. This nigga was celebrating after Biggie passed. He was happier than ever. This is all Biggie Smalls shit. Look at this is all Biggie Smalls land. That's what I'm gonna call this video, Biggie Smalls land. This is Biggie shit. Look, this nigga got that nigga hiding in the. All right. If they just look in the bushes, they gonna find this nigga. Usually, an emergency plan coordinator is at the center of developing emergency response plans and seeing that the plan is maintained in practice. Okay, that's true. I'm learning off of this shit. I'm taking a security class right now. I'm looking at how they doing Puffy love. Nigga, that's Biggie shit. Gonna be fucked up, nigga. That's Biggie's shit. That's Biggie Smalls mama shit. That's Craig Mack mama shit. That's Black Rob family member shit. Who was these niggas?
How we even came to be familiar and acquainted with this story. We were watching this on one of our feeds, about an hour ago now, and we were watching agents raid a home, so to speak. We have that moment. I want to get you to respond to that moment. This is it here. So, take a look at this. All right. You see there are so many of these agents that try to break down one of these front doors or at least gain access to it. And so, presumably, this is what they train for. This is how they go about this. Do they have to do this in every raid, so to speak? If you're not getting pushback or opposition, or there's no danger posed from any of the individuals in the house, why do they have to have such manpower like this?
Well, it does not mean that they believe that there's danger involved, but you can see that these officers are not taking anything for granted. They're there in uniform, they're clearly identifiable as law enforcement. They have what appears to be bulletproof vests on just in case something goes wrong. They have a certain lineup.
Might have a kid in there.
Stack, if you will. Person
gotta go party.
All the way down to the
He's ready to party, so
the
feds is there and they're ready to party, Puffy.
And it's not the kind of thing you can see. There's such a difference all the way from where the gate to that property that we're looking at
that's
now
all
is
Biggie
the
shit.
front door of the actual residence. There's some.
Nigga, that's all Biggie shit, nigga. It's Baby Cat 85, nigga. This is all Biggie shit, nigga. The fuck you mean, nigga? Yeah, God is real, nigga. Take that shit and give it back to Biggie Smalls' mama, nigga. The fuck is wrong with this nigga up in here having parties after Biggie died and having sex with underage? Yeah, go get that nigga. What the yeah? This nigga up in here busting Usher in his coochie in his asshole allegedly. And check the bushes. Check the bushes, man. Yeah, you passing up the bushes. No, the nigga is. I would hide in the bushes. If I was Puffy, I'd hide in the bushes with a weed pipe and some Hennessy, like it's over with. I killed Biggie. I bust this nigga. He's a sick individual. This is how I hunt a nigga down too. But I'm gonna say some real shit too. These people supposed to be at
at the Texas border, we got some open borders going on. They at Puffy house, so this is not cool. And look, they came in here with tanks. So listen to me also. Whatever Puffy Love did, it was so bad. He done bust Usher, his coochie and asshole, and that other girl and her coochie. He done did some shit to the point where they going to Puffy Love house with tanks. Now, another thing, listen, this is what's sad. Puffy is a black man, and he is busting underage kids in their coochies and assholes, allegedly. But do you have to go in there with your guns pointed? Like, Puffy, he did all this gay shit without no guns. Like, this is kind of scary, y'all. Let's get kind of deeper in rap now. I understand. Only God can judge this homosexual allegedly. But to go after this man with guns, now I'm thinking different. Now, I don't want no man busting no kids or underage kids in their coochies and assholes at all. Cause I kill a nigga for my kids. For sure. But Puffy never like displayed no guns. And they going up in here with tanks and guns. And they claim they looking for kids. This is crazy. This is about sex. Like Puffy is known for getting beat up and slapped up by Suge Knight. I ain't never seen Puff Daddy display no guns. So now I'm starting to think a little bit different, y'all. A little bit different. Now I'm a Tupac fanatic, so fuck that bad boy shit. And fuck any nigga that got to do with touching kids or beating on animals or beating on the elderly. But I don't think they should go up in here with their guns drawn because Puff Daddy been busting Usher in his coochie and asshole, allegedly.
We could possibly be seeing that be taken advantage of, any laws like that in a case like this?
Well, it depends on if the government believes that there was some kind of a conspiracy to continue with human trafficking or essentially to bring people into compelled prostitution. If they believe that there is an ongoing conspiracy, for example, among people to do this,
All I gotta say is, okay, Puff Daddy is busting this is sex. This ain't got nothing to do with drugs or guns. So if he busting these young girls in their assholes and coochie holes, why is you running up in there with guns? Like, are you gonna kill Puff Daddy? Damn, y'all should have let Tupac live. Tupac was ready to. Y'all should have left this up to Tupac. Like, just go. Listen, I don't want to wish no death on no nigga. Like, do this nigga, like, judge, prosecute him and send him to jail and electrocute the nigga at the least. But damn, y'all going there with guns drawn, like this nigga is busting these bitches in their coochies and assholes with guns pointed at their heads. Like, you don't got no guns, just go arrest the nigga, beat the nigga up for sure. I'll for sure beat the nigga up. See, Biggie Smalls' mama want this nigga to get. I know what I know what they doing. They about to do what Biggie Smalls' mama want them to do. They about to headshot this nigga in the bushes.
even though that's not what our Constitution or criminal court rules require.
So, of course, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you are saying the very fact that these homes affiliated with DIDDY are being rated in this fashion, it would be hard to, down the line, you would be surprised, so to speak, if Diddy wasn't somewhat implicated in that. That's what my line of questioning is to you. You know, how likely is it that a family member, an employee, a staffer on the grounds, or so to speak, that they are involved primarily, and that the homes just so happen to be owned by Sean Diddy Combs? Is that
Sean Diddy
unlikely or likely in
Sean
your
Diddy
history?
Combs.
You know, just the fact that they're his residences you know, that does bring concern that they believe anyway, that evidence of a serious federal crime is located in Combs's home, which leads one to believe that at a minimum, they think that potentially there is some involvement. I mean, his home is involved because they got a judge to sign off on a warrant saying evidence of this serious crime is in it.
Sure.
So he's got a battle ahead.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to step away right now from these live pictures. Nicole, I want to get your thoughts on this piece of video from how this all kicked off here. Okay, so you see there, this is in the Holmby Hills neighborhood there in Los Angeles. Investigators detained someone, Nicole, and you see this right here. This is video, this is not live, this is from earlier. And I guess my question to you is, you know, what comes first, kind of the chicken or the egg, the indictment or the raid, or the raid or the indictment? Which comes first? Because you see there, they're detaining people on the ground. This was what, maybe an hour ago. No doubt they're going to be questioned, possibly booked, not sure if they're going to be charged. We just don't know any of that. But presumably one has to happen for the other, right?
You know, believe it or not, it doesn't. They can actually they can execute a search warrant without charges being filed based on essentially criminal complaint. So, I mean, no indictment in that instance. And sometimes they indict a case and they don't have everybody that they think is responsible listed in that indictment, or the grand jury hasn't indicted everybody who they think is a part of the case. And so, you know, just because you're seeing people on TV right now who are, you know, being arrested, searched, handcuffed, detained, set aside, doesn't mean that they're criminal defendants or criminal suspects. It could very well be that those are witnesses that were watching them secure.
Okay.
So there's no way to know yet, you know, who is being charged, if there has been a charge. And sometimes indictments have been issued but are sealed and have to be unsealed by a federal judge so that we know what are the charges.
Yeah. All right. Let's go back out live to the pictures we have there, both in Los Angeles and in Miami. You know, Nicole DeBoard with us here on the phone. Can't thank you enough. This has been really invaluable for helping us.
Thank you,
If you're a Diddy legal team right now, they've been working overtime for the last, 3-4 months in unrelated cases. Now I would imagine that you know, their year has gotten so much more difficult. What lies ahead for them? How much harder is their job going to be, depending on whatever the charges are, whoever the defendants may be going forward?
You know, they're just going to have a massive amount of information to sift through, and that's if the government gives it to them. So the government first is going to get all of this information, and this can get really complicated for the legal team. So, you know, up until this morning, when all of these raids started, the legal team had access to, if they wanted to go to Mr. Combs and say, I would like to see what you have on this computer. He could go to his computer and he could get it. Well, you can bet that all of those items are going to be removed from these residences. And so now they're not accessible to the legal team until the government turns it over and the agents turn it over for review and for discovery. And that can take a while. So when the government takes possession of all the materials that you're using to try to understand allegations like this, the burden is just incredible. So it's going to take a ton of time for these lawyers and their legal teams to sift through this information and to try to calculate what they're even missing. You know, what did the government take that we need access to make sure that Mr. Combs gets due process? If that's in fact what happens, that he's charged at all in these allegations.
Yeah, and Nicole, like I said, we can't thank you enough. But these are really incredible scenes that we are seeing. You know, not just one, but 2 federal raids happening in real time as we speak. So I think that is, you know, somewhat significant in the nature of this story and the possible high-profile would-be defendant. And you see there in Los Angeles, look at all of those investigators going up the driveway there in the mansion, and
Go
so
get
we'll just have to
Puffy.
wait and see. But hopefully
Get
we'll
the
get
evidence.
some type of statement from Sean Combs, from his legal team, from his representatives there. But you can see there, Nicole, kind of a large mass of these investigators walking into the driveway and going into the home right there as well. You know, depending, and we were talking about this kind of, but you know, these homes are massive. So would you presume that these raids, these searches, I mean, they're going to go on for hours? You can make that.
They're gonna go for possibly days. I mean, the reality is that they need to, open every drawer. I mean, they're looking for things most likely like, could be thumb drives, computer disks, documents, photographs. Anywhere that they can argue, anyway, as law enforcement, that items of that nature could be concealed, they have to look. And in a house like this, I would imagine there are many drawers, many cabinets, many closets, and potentially many electronic devices. They're gonna be looking for phones, they're gonna be looking for tablets, they're gonna be looking for security footage, they're going to be looking for anything that might record data or receive an email or send a text. So there is just a ton of work ahead for these investigators.
All right, Nicole DeBoer, we can't thank you enough. And maybe we'll check in a little bit later or tomorrow, depending on how this story unfolds here. Nicole DeBoer, thanks so much.
Hey, well, thank y'all. Like and subscribe to BBK85. Leave a message. I want to know, did he do it? This a buster, and this nigga, and he's reaping what he sowed. I'm out of here. You gotta reap what you sowed. He's a buster. He's a buster and a customer. You done bust. Usher in his coochie in his asshole. Allegedly. He's a buster.